All right, we're live. So welcome to Run Wild with Us, Ask Us Anything. So I'm Lisa Kastner. I'm the founder and CEO of Running Wild, which consists of Running Wild, Rise, Trompe l'Oeil, Junkyard Rooster, and Monstrous Books. And we are here with you on Wednesdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time, basically so you can ask us whatever the hell you want. Now, what's really cool about this is the fact that this gives you an opportunity to have some FaceTime. Get it? FaceTime. Anyway, with some folks in the industry who we've been around the block, right? We've done a few things. So, oh, this is weird too. Sorry, I'm having all these really bizarre technical issues today. So. I was trying to set up the Instagram and for whatever reason, it's not letting me. And that's strange as well. Anyway, so as I'm here blathering on and on, look at who's joined us.
Hey,
the magical, mystical Ben.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm here.
How's it going, youngin? What's shaking?
Doing okay.
Yeah.
I've moved on to another novel.
And how's that?
Well, I've just started it because we got one sent to production Monday. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah, Monday.
Wow. Oh, wow. You're just churning stuff out.
No, that one was the long one.
Oh, that was the long one. Okay.
Yeah, the extra work one.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Oh, yes, I do. Sorry. Yes, I do. Yes.
But it's off to Double E in production. Double E has it.
Awesome. Yeah, and she's a rock star, so no one should have any questions as to how things go.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So how's the new one? The new one
is Rodolfo's sci-fi novel.
Oh.
This is second one, the Children of the Atomic Reservation.
Oh my, cool.
Yeah. So I'm maybe 20 pages in.
Okay, and
it's falling in place.
Okay.
It's a Rodolfo story.
Okay, understood. Got it.
Yeah, so it's good.
We love him, so you know.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it's just the formatting. The formatting takes the most time.
Oh, I see.
When I put it over into Google Docs, it takes away the indents.
Ah, yeah.
So I have to indent every line, every new paragraph.
Got it. Well, that sucks.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't have anything more intellectual to say than that, but that's
I've got no argument, so yes.
Yeah, I'm working on revisions for War Dogs, which let's just say it went places I did not expect, and hopefully we don't get hate mail. Well, we will, because we always get hate mail by somebody, some dang fool that, you know. And then a memoir and essays, and I'm a little more than halfway through that. And then the novella anthologies for Running Wild and for Rise. Yeah, so I'm not even, I'm like 1/33 of the way through.
Yeah, that reminds me, the short story anthology will kick back in at May 30th, May 31st.
Yeah,
that's because that's the year we look for stories.
That's true.
So June 1st, I'll have that to do.
Oh, and that reminds me, we have to start vetting the short stories for the benefit anthology. Yeah.
Yeah, that was deadline was April 1st, so we're it's time.
It is time, and we have a couple of interns right now who are going through our novel submissions, because we have so many, and they're actually really good. I mean, meeting our interns, their analysis of stories and craft it's pretty impressive, actually. Yeah. And they take guidance really, really well. So
when you said they're really good, is that the interns or the novel submissions, or both?
The interns.
Okay.
Well, okay, so I guess like caveat. So so Ben knows this, but those of you who may be watching this may not be aware. You know, when we first started Running Wild, we received, let's just politely say, a wide range of skill sets and story types that we had to really seriously vet, because you know, in some cases, you know, people were great at telling a story, but they didn't know craft, like they didn't understand craft. Yeah. And in other cases, they were amazing at craft, but there was no story, right? It was just kind of like a blathering, like someone puked on a page and then just played around. Exactly. Like a sexy grocery list, right? Like organic, sweet carrots, you know, or some crap, you know. So anyway.
So this is really well written. When's the story going to begin?
Yeah, exactly. I'm on page 50. And all the main characters went away. And now I'm in a grocery store with carrots. I don't understand. How did we get here? So, you know, then I'd say our roles as acquisition editors and editors in general was more about finding people who had a lot of potential and then helping them advance their skill set, so that what they did publish was something that was strong in both craft as well as in narrative, right, and storytelling. Yeah. And through the years, we now get, it's actually, I think it's flipped. We get a lot more high quality submissions and much fewer submissions that are of like puking on a page. But, you know, which is wonderful. And it also just means that our vetting process tends to be much more challenging.
Yeah.
So when we have a couple of interns with us from Drexel University, and, you know, when I asked them, so what do you want to work on? And they were like, well, I really want to improve my writing skills and my communication skills. So I'm like, okay, well, here, we'll have you vet, you know, I want you to do an analysis, and you only have to read, like, you know, the first 10, 15, 20 pages of each submission. But you know, you don't have, not only do you judge it like thumbs up, meh, or no way, but you also have to tell us why, right? And their assessments are really detailed. And nice. I mean, and what's interesting too is we have 3 interns, and each one are from very, very, very different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And so you would assume that, you know, they may come back with much more varied assessments of the works, but it's actually the reverse. They're basically coming to the table and, like, you know, they're just saying in different ways why they did or didn't like something, you know?
Yeah.
And it actually is reminiscent to me of when our acquisition team gets together, because there's a lot of times we'll have ones that are like, they're really maybes, but some of us we'll be super nice about it, and we don't want to tell them no, you know, so we'll, like, you know, hedge it and just kind of like not directly say like, no, this isn't gonna, you know, this sucks, or this needs a lot of work, right? But someone else will, right? So or vice versa. Hey, how's it going, Peter?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. Sorry I'm late. It's been the kind of day.
Oh, no problem. We were just talking about
you disappeared.
I know, he did, and now he's got his lights on. Hey.
Yep. Just got a haircut the other day. It's awful short again.
Oh, cool.
Not as short as Ben's, but still.
Well, we can't all be Ben.
We can't. It's too much for even one man to bear sometimes.
Yeah. Don't even try.
It's just, oh my gosh, too much. But yeah, so we were just telling folks about how our acquisition process has changed and how we have interns now who are going over our full length stuff, and they're actually really good. They're very, very good at assessing.
Great.
Yeah. So
what qualifications were you? Are they having to become interns? I mean, what level of experience do they have?
They have no level of experience. We just gave them specific. So they're all undergraduates at Drexel University, and it's part of their co-op program. So when they interview with us, I just basically ask them why are they interested in, doing a co-op with us. And then in all honesty, I always customize the co-op to meet whatever their biggest desires are, right? So like last season, we had a couple of co-ops or interns who worked with us, and they really, really, really wanted to know how to build a proposal. So I had them identify what titles might be great to submit to book clubs. And then they work with myself and Joelle on building a proposal to send to those book clubs, and they had to pitch them to us first. And then they had to identify the book clubs to pitch to, and then they sent the initial pitches. And I think two of our books got picked up for book clubs. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So, we basically, it's a great opportunity for them to get some solid stuff on their resumes and show, results associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
But this year the interns came back and said, I really just want to strengthen my communications and writing skills. So I said, okay, well then we'll have you start off with assessing all our long form submissions. And we gave them some guidance on like how to do it. And they're actually really good. They're very detailed. They're coming back with like really smart analyses. So yeah.
That's fantastic experience for them. I mean, it's a boon. It's beneficial for us, of course, but that's a great experience for them to have, for them to put on their resume, to be given that opportunity at that level of experience is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get.
Yep. So
especially tailored around their interest.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't get that. Like I remember being an intern. You were lucky if they were like, go clean the toilet. It was like, okay. Yeah, sure.
You're in the door. That's what counts.
In that.
Yeah, that's it. You're in the door. That's what counts. Yeah, exactly. So, but I thought we could stick them on the anthology to benefit the survivors of the wildfires. Because I think we still have some insane number of submissions for that. And while I'm looking that up, so Peter, what have you been up to, young man?
Oh, many, many things. Many things. Some things that have yet to be announced, but I'm now double editing. I've got a book that I got back from my author far faster than I thought I would. He shot it back to me like within a week and a half. I was figuring at least a month.
Oh, Curtis. Yeah.
And I just started on another book. And I mean, well, to concentrate on Curtis's book, one of the wonderful things about working with him, I mean, having the relationship that we've got, is that I give him a note and he just throws some ink down and just nails the note. I mean, there's no excessive anything. It's just like, well, where are we? What are we seeing? Well, now we're in the New Jersey landscape, flat and plain. I'm like, well, that describes everything that I needed to see with a simple sentence, a one sentence thing. There's no heaviness. There's no unnecessary details. It's perfect, and it tells you where you are. So that should go pretty quickly. I'm waiting on another novel, a big one, a historical novel that I'm expecting to get back from the author sometime. That's been about a month and a half, 2 months since I gave it to her. And then this new one that I'm working on is very exciting. I'm liking it a lot. It's needs some polishing, which most novels do in the first draft, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. The author builds suspense really well.
Oh,
and
cool.
the way I'm working on flushing that out and honing it down so that when it can be more pinpointed and narrow, so the reader is with the author while he's writing, and then expands out another section. So it's fun to do, and I'm curious to see where I get with the rest of the novel. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to our second conversation, because we spoke a while ago, and he gave me some backstory, which was invaluable for approaching the book for the first time. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going really well. I just wish I had more time. We all know that way. I just wish I had more time.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, like I rarely get to do anything other than things associated with Running Wild or my day job, right? So I'm like sneaking in watching The Residents on Netflix and, like in little tiny increments, just so that I can, kind of savor it while I'm like eating lunch or, grabbing a bite to eat for dinner or something. So, I totally feel you on the, like, my gosh, what if there was a 30-hour day? What would that look like? So.
I had, this was a while ago. I just would you rather have another 6 hour or 8 hours in the day, or another 10 days a month? Which would you prefer? And to a person, they said another 8 hours a day. That would be beneficial. 8 more hours in a day, that would be, because then they would have more time for themselves and what they wanted to do. Ideally.
I honestly, like, and this is just me being a nerd, you won't get, you're not going to have another like 8 hours of daylight, right? Like
right.
That's physically impossible. We don't control that. But if we expanded each month to have an additional 10 days, then that it'll throw the seasons off, but it will actually enable you to have those additional 10 days. So I would actually pick the latter, which just shows
what?
It just shows I just thought through that far too much in a very brief period of time. So
if there were 10 more days in a month, I think I'd only be 36.
Ooh!
There you go. Now that's a viewpoint.
Okay, wait. And did you just do that in your head?
Yeah. I made room.
You made room? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm down for that one. Maybe I'm like 25. No. How amazing would that be all of a sudden? Why not? I still get carded. So hey, let's do it. I did forget to mention at the beginning of this, if anybody is new to watching this, we are some of although it's all the same people all the time, but so we are the I guess you could say like the core, most of the core acquisitions team at Running Wild, which consists of Running Wild Press, Rise Press, I'm going to say this wrong, Peter, so you can kill me, Trompe-l'oeil, Junkyard Rooster, and Monstrous Books. And we make ourselves available to you to once a week on Wednesdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. So you can ask us whatever you want. Now, what's great about this is the fact that we've all been around far too long. And we're all 36. Exactly. Ben, yeah. I mean, Ben alone, right? Only 36. He started when he was 2 years old. So with that in mind, though, we're all authors. We are all editors. Some of us are poets. We've all had experience behind the scenes in terms of the publishing and actually I'd say broader storytelling industry, as well as being more like the faces to whatever works we're bringing forward. So we've got, and I'd say we've all minimally worked with small presses, right? Some of us have worked with larger houses. Some of us have worked with also university presses, and some of us have worked with like big fours. So, you know, that provides you a unique opportunity to ask questions that you probably won't have access to others to ask. And we tend to be a bit more open than possibly we should be. But hey, I'm down for that. Like that totally works for me. So if you have a question, all you have to do is go into the comments section of whatever venue you are watching this. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Pop that question in that comment section, and then all you have to do is then wait, because I will read said question, and then we take turns in responding to your question. Now, if you're watching this and it's no longer live, you're watching the recording, that is also fabulous, because what that means is you just go ahead, pop that question into the comments section, and then we actually check it during the week. So we'll then just respond to whatever your question may be after the fact. So I just wanted to get that in there. I usually do it in the very beginning, but I admit I joined like at exactly 5 o'clock, going on 5:01, and I was desperately trying to get our Instagram up and running, which I never actually got up and running for this one, but that's okay, right? It's all good. So, okay, now that I've completely interrupted everything, just to get that out there, we are now down to, due to, I've already rejected some short stories that were submitted to our wildfire anthology because they weren't where we would expect them to be. And then we had some repeats as well. We are now down to 71, which is still a lot. It may not be a lot for everybody. Some people are used to getting thousands. We're used to getting, I think this started off at what was it, like
156?
156, something like that.
That's the last time I looked, it was at 156.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're down to 71. So if you are watching this and you are one of those fabulous people who submitted your short story for the novella, for the anthology to benefit the victims of the wildfires, thank you for doing that. We are actively going through them. I'm personally just fitting in time so that I can go through them. And if you haven't heard from us, consider that to be a positive, because that means it's still in the running. And that's one question I get a lot. It's like, I submitted something to you guys 2 years ago and I haven't heard anything. Guess what? That's actually a good thing, because it means you weren't declined, which means you're still in the running. You're still in consideration.
Probably means it's on my queue too, so it's my fault.
Now, what you also want to be aware of is one thing I do ask, if you've submitted something to us and it was accepted elsewhere, if you could just go ahead and withdraw that piece, that would be amazing. Because honestly, we do all put a lot of time, as does the rest of our team, in reviewing submissions. Mm-hmm. And so if you already know you're going to say no because you already know that you submitted it somewhere, just let us know. It's not a big deal. Honestly, we're thrilled for you that it got accepted somewhere.
We'd be the first to say congratulations.
Exactly. Yes. So please just let us know. Teja says, hey guys. Hey Teja. As always, fabulous to see you. I was going to ask Ben and Peter something, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. So, but I'll get there. Taya says, Lisa, today you wore red. Yes, just to mess with you. I mean, that's and it has old school Superman on it. So I don't know if you can see that, but see between my cat and the byline. Oh no, Taz, like, sorry for interrupting your thoughts. Not a big deal. I had already interrupted my own thoughts. I don't even remember what I was saying. So it's like, it's not a thing. There was, actually, so this is this is a question for both Ben and Peter, because it's something that came up recently for Ben and for myself as well. So what do you do? How do you feel about authors who, like, you give them the edits, right? And you think they're pretty straightforward. Stop laughing. You think they're pretty straightforward, but they keep coming back with more and more elaborate questions, right? Like, how do you handle that? What do you think about those situations?
Well, Ben was grinning, so I've got to go. I got to defer to him. So I want to hear his answer first.
It usually happens with the ending of a short story is where I've seen it most, where the conversations come back of, no, I want it to end this way, and there's loose ends along the way with the story that you need to wrap up. So it's I appreciate the conversation, and I listen to the authors because I know that I am not every reader. And they, just because that story leaves a loose end for me doesn't mean it will for every reader. So we start there and have that conversation of how do we fix those loose ends and wrap it up into a tighter ending, because you want the ending of a short story especially to be satisfying. I think you don't want the loose end to be, I wonder what happened to those characters. But so you have that conversation, and I always fall back and say, well, you don't want to make the reader mad at you, because once you do that, they're going to put your book down, whether it's a short story or a novel or memoir. They're going to put it down and walk away, and that's the last thing an author wants to have happen. I'd rather you get mad at the characters because they did something that you didn't expect than get mad at you, the author, for doing something that just didn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good. No, I'm serious. I agree. From my perspective, I would say, what are you trying to accomplish with this section, with this image, with this scene, with this plot, or with this ending? I mean, let's work together to figure out what the ideal solution could be. Now, what I think it should be, what you think it should be, and let me help you arrive at that conclusion, because you know where you want to go. You know where you want to get to. I may know craft a little bit more than you, so let's work together on some back and forth on how we can make all the elements fit together so that A, it's satisfying to the reader, B, it fits your artistic vision, and C, it reads well. You know, it's not forcing anything else, not putting anything on top of it. It's saying, let's get there together, because this is your story. I can help. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Taz, like, why is Ben located too low on the screen? It's like, I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. I don't know what this man's doing.
He's shrinking at 30. He's shrinking at 36.
He's totally shrinking. Like, how the hell?
Let's blame Instagram, because we couldn't get them fixed.
I couldn't get Instagram to work. It just, like, it wouldn't let me do it.
I don't know. Look at it. And it's the books on my shelf behind me almost line up with Peter's books behind him. So it's like one big continuous continental bookshelf.
You need to lower your camera so that it's actually pointing more at you. That's the problem. Yeah, you usually have it a little lower. Yeah, like
I can't read the screen. There we go. Is that better, Teha? Thank you for noticing my. And
you just want everything.
I had my shins removed.
No.
New meaning to the word shin split.
He was just waiting to use the word shin, because why not?
Yeah.
All right, so let's
we all come across scenes like Peter was talking about, scenes where the authors really want to introduce these extra set of characters or this extra place or something they really enjoyed writing, and it shows that it's well written and they enjoyed it, but it's not necessary. And say, well, push that out into another work, and save that scene for another story, another novel. And I've had that conversation as well.
Mm. Yeah, I'm going to end up having to give some feedback on one piece that, like, there's a whole chapter. There's no point to it. It's like, just little vignettes that were kind of pieced together, but there's no arc. There's no story. They're very loosely associated. So we'll see how that's taken.
Well, no, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you guys, like, so when you get feedback from an editor, how comfortable do you feel? Like, do you just by default take the edits, or are there times when you're like, this was what I intended with it. If that's not coming through, like, do you ever have a dialogue regarding the feedback you've received?
I would consider what the editor has to say, because that's what I want my authors to do with my comments and my questions. Consider what I have to say. It's not the hand of God. It's not saying this has to happen this way because that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Given these choices, and when I've been edited, it's like I said, I consider what was said. I consider how things were presented. I'm like, okay, well, this is what I was trying to. Well, exactly what you were saying. This is what I was trying to do. What if I try this or try this? Which one do you think would help? Would better accomplish that vision that I've got? Yeah. Because this is where I want to end up in the story. Mm-hmm. What will get me there? Mm-hmm. If that makes Exactly.
No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think if authors are being honest, they understand. Mm-hmm. They may love the scene and really put a lot of heart into it and a lot of effort into getting it on paper. But if it doesn't work in that conversation, and I received that, so if it didn't work, it may have turned into lazy writing, and I need to fix that. And for me personally, I understand. Say, yep, you found it.
Bastard. How dare you?
I tried to slide it by you, but you found it, and now I gotta fix it.
So, all right. So now, have you ever had a piece that you submitted somewhere, and when the editor came back, it was clear they just did not understand it? And like, what did you do? How did you handle that? And vice versa. Have you ever edited a piece that it was when the author came back, they were like, well, that's what this meant. And like you're saying, I didn't do these things, and it's actually completed here, here, and here, or whatever, right?
I have not been in that situation, no. So just to be completely honest, I've not dealt with that. But again, I would keep the channels of communication open. I mean, if I submit a piece, a story or a poem or a novel, and an editor has the time and the the willingness to give me comments back on it before just flat out rejecting it from their press, I'm going to listen, because I want to hear that feedback. I want to see what they have to say that can make this story, this novel better. Because not only have they taken the time, they've given me some of their wisdom and their knowledge, and that's important. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke. I mean, that's really valuable to me, because there is a lot I don't know. And when I'm writing, I'm not editing. When I'm editing, I'm not writing. They're two completely different parts of my mind. And I miss things all the time. And when I'm going back through my stuff and I'm editing my stuff, I'm like, I call writers out on this all the time. And I fall in this damn trap myself. So, I try to keep the lines of dialogue open, because I mean, I've dealt with writers who are very closed-minded. They see one vision for the story. You touch one word of this, and I'll kill you. Okay, it's like no. This is not how the process works. You're not Francis. Okay, so that's not the process. It's an open process, because to help them make it better. That's what we're all trying to do. We're not trying to make anything in what we want them to be. Trying to make them better as on their own, because if you think about it, once it's written, it's not you anymore. Don't think of it as you. It's an extension of you. It's a book. It's a story. It's a poem. It's a thing in and of itself. So
Mhm.
let it be criticized, let it be critiqued, let it be edited. That's
Yeah.
what the point is. I mean, make it better.
And I think you need to appreciate that it's getting that attention,
Mhm.
and that some readers looked at it and missed the point that you were trying to make, but that may be good.
Mhm.
There's another point to be made. You mean, oh yeah, I meant to do that. I meant to do that. But be happy with it. Run with it. Because
Mhm.
I was looking at shamelessly advertising here.
As you should.
The Recon trilogy from Running Wild Press.
There's an exclamation point there.
By some guy.
There is a second poem in that one that had a character that an editor said you don't need that character.
Mm.
And I said, well, I like that character. And she told me, get it out of there and work something else. So I said, well, I'll make the Scarecrow Angel another part. But and it made sense because Triggerfish 1-2 was getting too almost magical, and it didn't need to be. But so I took Scarecrow Angel and gave that character a whole another point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was great feedback to hear, because you're gonna be blind to it. You know, oh yeah, Scarecrow Angel, he can come into the story and have this big part to play, and everybody's gonna love him. And
yeah, and they'll be like, "Who the hell is this? And why is he here? And I don't understand what he's doing here."
Yeah, write another. Give him his own piece. If he's that important, give him his own piece.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I've been in so on both sides. I've been on. So I've had works that so caveat. I actually, every time I submit anything to an editor, I'm absolutely terrified they're going to turn around and puke all over it. Like, what is wrong with you? What makes you think you have any right to write any words on any damn page? How dare you, waste my time, right? Like, I'm like, okay, today, this is going to be it. And I'll, which is fine. Like, I'll just do this massive rewrite or whatever, right? And I'm going to say 90% of the time, the feedback that I get is, to both of your points, it's spot on, right? It's like, I missed a transition, right? Or I got super wordy and I got lost in, and I don't know how many people realize this. Like, when we speak, we're not speaking in complete sentences. And oftentimes when we're speaking, it's a blathering, right? It's one sentence after another that are not necessarily, associated with one another naturally if you put it on in actual writing. So when you're writing sometimes, and especially your first draft, guess what? You got a whole lot of those sentences that it's a single sentence, but in this case, it is now it's a paragraph long. And there is no way anybody on the planet is going to be able to actually, read that. Right. So, and I like I said, I know I'm guilty of that. Like, I do it all the time. So,
as your editor, I appreciate you accepting a verb every now and then.
Why do you need a verb? Please, no one uses verbs.
Yeah, that just gets in the way.
They do. They're just annoying. But like,
but then again, the style of writing that you have, sometimes you don't need that verb. But right. there are other times when, let's give the reader a break and make that more of a fuller sentence.
Right. No, agreed.
But without changing your style, because your style is yours and every author's is theirs. Right. And if it's creative and they're consistent, then that carries weight. And because I just finished a novel where the author, it took me a while to catch on to how she wrote and the voice that she was using and her pace and everything else. But once you do that, you notice the deviation from that, and you don't want to deviate from it.
Right. And yeah.
No matter how many editors you hire.
Well, and to me, so to your point about, like voice and everything, the only times I've had difficulty when I got feedback was when it was clear the editor never caught like the voice, I guess you could say, because both Ben and Peter have edited my work before, and I tend to be very like, I imply things a lot because I know I prefer stories that something's implied, and like I'll give you breadcrumbs throughout it, and then because in my mind we're all intelligent beings, and so you should be able to piece this together by what's implied, and then by the end, you have this fulfillment because you're like, oh wow, this is fabulous, I totally got it right. There are all these implications that now come together at the end, and because that's my style. Does get me in trouble because I have had editors who just don't understand. They don't think that way, I guess is a better way of putting it, right? So they'll go through it and say, well, I don't like the fact that you did this, and this. Can you just, and basically completely, they don't want the story itself, basically, right? They want me to completely change everything around it. And like I had one that was all about a hexed object, a hexed artifact that was basically being used to terrorize whoever was the target for it. And the terror of it was, in essence, like a ghost of a werewolf, right? And everyone who read it understood that, except for one editor who was reviewing it for the anthology and was like, she wanted to knock him down, drag him out, fight between the werewolf and the detective who was investigating the story. So I had to kind of piece together for her, like, well, if you look at here, here, and here, and here, it's basically telling you that this is a hexed object. So it's not a real werewolf, right? It's a ghost is the best term that I can come up with right now. But, and then once I did that and she saw, all the pieces of the puzzle coming together, it was like, oh, okay, got it. Never mind. It was, it's just a recommendation. So, and that doesn't happen a lot with me, but it only happens, like I said, every once in a while I'll get something like that. But I think to both of your points, it's invaluable for me because it forces me to go back and look at the work and say, okay, in my head, this was obvious, but did I actually leave enough breadcrumbs, right? Like, did I do this in a way that was effective enough that the majority of the population will read this and come to, if not the same conclusions, similar conclusions? But I want to, I think, Peter, I think you called it out exactly. I want to have the dialogue, right? I want to talk about it. I want to help understand, where did this story take you? Where, maybe I didn't intend it, but I need to understand that it took someone there, and like, how can we kind of make that road a little more clear and possibly narrow, so that as a reader's going down it, they're getting the fulfillment that's intended, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my biggest things is, and I stumbled on this early-ish in my writing career, is the Poe's unity of effect. Whereas everything in the story funnels down, winnows down to the final endpoint, like Ben's point was saying, is that the ending makes sense. The ending is satisfying for the reader. It ties up all loose ends. There aren't any extraneous characters. And sometimes authors will put stuff into stories that have no point being in the story. They'll just throw a character in there because they think it's a good idea, because it's an interesting part of the story. And, there are times when you want to keep the reader's attention focused and flowing in a particular direction. Like, I'm working on a novel now that the author has got the tension great, the pace great, the flow is great, and we're on this porch, and he's delivering this tragic news to the family. Their son was just died. He just found their body, and all of a sudden we're in Chicago. It's like, no. We can't go to Chicago now. We can go to Chicago in the next chapter, or, a couple pages later. But we can't go now because we're in this moment, and we're delivering this tragic news to this family. And it's a quiet moment, and we need to stay focused. Okay, so that's why, I made this maybe completely divergent from what you were saying, Lisa, but this is something that's bothering me that I want to pass on. I will give to you is keep the point of your story in mind, so that you're responsible for what the reader is experiencing with the visuals, with the language, with the audible, everything you hear, see, taste, touch, or feel is your responsibility in the story. So keep the reader engaged in what you're saying. So that if you get extraneous things that aren't exactly necessary, don't include them at crucial points, because they do detract from the story. They do detract, and if you give a reader a second to say, "Does that make sense?" Boom, they're out of your story. They're completely out of it. And if you're going to take the time to get back into it, and per Ben's point, maybe they don't want to. Maybe they won't feel the need to.
It's funny, related, but somewhat related. I was on a panel in the last couple months, and they asked everyone on the panel, like, what did you do with your first novel that you wrote? And the very first novel I ever wrote, I had just gotten out of finished my MBA, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write my first novel ever. And it started off as like this literary family story that I started getting bored with. So then it became like a thriller. And then I started getting bored with that. And then it became like a mystery. And like along the way, all the characters who started the story, they somehow just like disappeared. And by the end, it was like completely different characters who had nothing to do with nothing. And
we've all written that book.
And my then sister-in-law was so kind. She volunteered to read the whole thing, and she did. She actually read I have no idea how she did it, because I mean, if I got bored writing my own damn work, I can't even imagine what she was going through trying to finish this thing. But like the reason I felt like it's important to share this is, like, so many people come into this and they think, I can write a story. I tell stories all the time. And it's like, but you don't understand how to actually provide a narrative. You don't know how to make things engaging yet necessarily, right? Like, you're still learning. And everyone has at least one work that they started with, Peter, to your point, that you basically puked on a page, right? And it's almost like this massive, like, mental revision that you did. Like, you had to get all that crap out of your head. And now you can actually start writing something that other people may want to pay attention to. But like, if you're writing and you're new to it, don't ever sit here and feel bad about the fact that, like, maybe you didn't, whatever that first thing was, it never made it anywhere. Guess what? It's not supposed to.
No.
If you had any idea the number of revisions that professional authors go through to get their work done, especially in their earliest pieces, you would be horrified, right? But they didn't give up. They just said, all right, well, maybe this isn't ready yet. Let me move on to something else. And then they did that, so.
Well, yeah. And the number of revisions that they do before they get it to a publishing house, and then the number of revisions they do with the editor above and beyond that. I mean, this is a lot of work. And, don't discount yourself. I mean, if you're actively engaged with writing a book, keep going. I mean, like Lisa's saying, don't give up. Keep going. This could turn out to be something, but know that it's not going to be perfect on the first run through. But just keep going no matter what. Let it deviate. Let it meander. Let it do whatever it has to do. Then go back and reattack it with a fresh eye. And by reattack it, I mean reattack it, because it's not you. Make it yours.
And I've heard that authors should write a book they want to read.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to read it 75 times.
Good point.
And then when they go back and read it once it's in print, they're like,
what did I do? Why didn't I Yes.
So Teja asks, how long did it take us to write our first novel? That piece of crap that I just described that I've never actually seen again. That took me like a year, believe it or not, to write it. But how about you guys? How long did it take you to write your first piece?
I wrote an e-novel in a month.
What?
Yeah.
You wrote a novel in a month?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it NaNoWriMo or something?
But it was Honestly, it was more of a novella because I don't think the word count kicked up to a novel, but it was published as an e-novel. So it was.
Wait, so did you publish it, or did someone have the balls to actually publish?
No, it was actually published in England
Oh,
by Excellence Publishing.
and they were like, "Here's a
They
crazy."
gave it a good 5-year run, but it's no longer available.
Oh, okay. So they just
Yeah, it was a month to 6 weeks.
wow.
I was very familiar with the setting and the characters, and I had probably carried it around with me before I started writing much longer.
Okay.
Which counts. I think you got it. You got it here first.
All right. So Peter, how long did this?
I can't get past the fact that Ben's this guy's like, well, I do have a girlfriend, but she's in England, so you can't meet her.
My lazy writing. The editor caught my lazy writing and gave me something to talk about on Wednesday nights. Dang it.
I have no idea how long it took me to write my first book. It was an idea that I had that gestated for a while. And I finally said, I'm tired of watching television. So in the 90s, I was like, all I watched was Friends reruns and the Friends live ones. And then I'd get home from work, I'd have some dinner, and I'd write. And I'd just pound the keyboard until a novel came out. And it was atrocious. It's absolutely horrible. But I sent it out with the good graces of saying, I know how to write. And everybody sent me back a rejection saying, no, you don't. Take a class. Read this book. So I read the book and I started taking some classes. And, I kept with it. So I've got 4 novels that will never see the light of day unless I go back and give them a vigorous rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 complete novels, just because I'm that stubborn. I'm gonna finish a project through.
Okay.
So now the problem is I know a lot more than that. It's so much easier to write a novel when you don't know what you're doing, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what rules you're breaking. You don't know what not to do. You don't know what to do. So you blather all over the page. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like now it's like a couple pages here. I used to do 1,000 words a night, every night. Now I look back at them like maybe 50 words of those 1,000 words were made any sense whatsoever. So I'm working on a 500-page manuscript, trying to tone it down to 80,000 words right now, and it's slow going because it's filled with so much garbage from times when I was having fun just goofing off. It's like now I'm trying to pare down this thing. It's like carving down. Well, it's just difficult.
I was just saying you owe us a novel. I'm just saying.
I'm in the catbird seat. I know I am. And I'm surrounded by books, and 2 screens I'm surrounded by books, and they're on the same level too. Yes, I know, and this will be a dynamic, amazing book.
Because I've got a 30,000 word novel waiting for me for about 4 years to get back to.
You mean
But you wrote a week, right? You wrote that in a week, right?
Well, yeah. But I haven't gotten back to it. It was it's up to 30,000, but I haven't touched it 18 months, I bet.
Oh wow.
Oh boy. You can tell us to screw off, and you don't have to take every editing so you can knock out your own stuff.
No, it's easier to write poetry. And,
okay.
And I'm a prolific poet because I'm a lazy fiction writer. And vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah. And
wow. Well, we only have 6 minutes left. So if you are watching, and thank you for watching.
Myself, Teja. I'm overworking myself.
Teja asked if Ben was okay because he looks like he's overworked. I think he just got a sunburn. That's what it looks like.
The sun is out in New Mexico, so.
Mm-hmm.
Too much golf, huh?
My healthy color is back. Too much reading in the backyard, in Puerto Vallarta.
Well, that's I went to a natural springs like spa, and the friend I was with is of I want to say Dominican descent, and I guess she had never gone to a spa where most people are lying out to tan with a natural redhead. Because, she was like, oh, don't you just need suntan lotion? I'm like, no, I get sunblock, because basically I just turn bright red and then I fade back to this. And if I'm lucky, I get some freckles along the way, but that's about it. And she was like, there's no way that's true. I'm like, all right, well, you're going to see it. So, oh, well, rock on.
I got nothing. So.
You're in Florida. You got nothing.
I can't follow up the redhead thing, so.
All right. Well, all right. Wow. Oh my God. 4 minutes. Okay. So is there anything that you guys want to talk about while we have people online? Oh, Tess says, what temperature do you guys usually get sunburned? Oh, I honestly have no idea. All I know is and especially in California, it can be like 68 degrees, but completely clear, and you'll get a sunburn because the sun's rays are so strong. And then it could be like, 90 degrees technically, but it's overcast. And because it's overcast and there's so much shadow from the clouds, that you're cold. So, it's not that easy to figure out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Every time I see Ben, he's got some kind of sunburn going on. So I'm guessing he's almost always. I don't know, Peter, you're in Florida.
West side, especially in the spring, because 70 with wind is warm. 60 with wind is cold. And I was stationed in New Orleans for 6 years, and I haven't been warm since.
Okay.
Well, I thought you were going to say sober. Oh.
Well, that could be one of us, but I doubt that's Ben. Of the three of us, he's the least likely.
The designated driver.
You're the designated driver all the time?
All the time.
Do your kids now designate you as a driver?
Yeah, when they talk to me.
How about you, Peter? Do you go out and tan at all, or no? Or are you like?
I don't go out and tan, no. But if I'm riding my bike, I'm usually wearing a t-shirt. I mean, I of course got jeans and boots or shoes on, or whatever like that. But my arms tan pretty good. I don't burn all that bad. So, and right now I'm in Northeast Florida, so it's not deadly hot. When we're in Southwest Florida, I mean, you sweat from the front door to your car. You walk in 20 feet, you're sweating at that time. So it's a lot easier to sunburn and tan down there. But I don't normally burn or anything like that. I'm not outside enough, unfortunately. Wish I were.
Got it. Okay. All right. So, and this is a completely irreverent question, but how does it feel to put wet cloth after sunburn? Does it help? I never got sunburnt, so just a curious question. I honestly if I do a combination of cold or cool washcloths, because it releases the heat from the sunburn, and then I use like natural lotion because it helps keep from having like severe peeling.
Yeah.
So
cold beer. Cold beer.
Cold beer.
Cold beer. That's how I do it.
It makes everything all right. Cold beer makes everything okay.
More ways than
I
one.
was going to go iced tea because I'm the designated driver.
There you go. Wow. Well, this went places I didn't expect. So cool. Well, we're at about that time. So I want to, as always, thank Ben and Peter. You guys, I mean, well, we're really a team. So I don't know why I'm thinking you have to come. So anybody who's been watching, thank you so much for watching. We adore you. Thank you for joining us. Even if all you're doing is just hanging out, chilling out, and just listening to us lather on. Don't forget, we'll be here next week, Wednesday, between 5 and 6 p.m. And I believe I will then, after this, immediately after, be here for a storyteller's happy hour with Teehee Hazlett. And Teehee is our acquisitions editor for Rise, as well as one of our amazing, amazing authors. So with that, again, thanks, guys. Love you all, and see you next week.